Hi Beatles fans, pop pickers, YouTubers and people of the VC and people on the interweb. It's Beatle Dave, your friendly neighbourhood record collector. It's been a bit of a strange week this week. I haven't really had much time to watch other people's videos, so I'm sorry. But I did manage to watch one by my mate Beatley Tone on Beatley Tone's Beatles channel. So if you haven't already checked him out, please check him out. Absolutely fantastic bloke. And he's done a video and he wants people to either comment on it or do their own version of this video. That's if you've got a YouTube channel, obviously. If you haven't got a YouTube channel, then just make a comment on his channel. So I thought it was a really good idea. So I've been busy this afternoon, and I've just like sat down for like half an hour, and I'm thinking, right, what would I put on this thing? So it's actually based on a comment that George Martin made years and years and years ago, where he actually said he thought that the White Album would probably have been better if it was one album instead of a double album. Controversial, isn't it, really? Because, you know, the White Album is the White Album. So I think Beatley Tone had seen another video and got the idea for his video off this other video. So you haven't got to bother about timings or everything. You've just got to pick 15 out of the 30 songs, because there's 30 songs on the Beatles White Album, or the Beatles as it is officially known. Now this is harder than you think to get rid of half of the albums, really. Well, half of the songs off the album. I've thought hard and I've changed my mind about 5 times, because to be honest, this little white thing here, this album as it is here in its entirety, is actually one of my, if not my favourite, it's in my top 3 albums of all time, and it's definitely probably my top Beatles album. I think I've got more copies of this album than any other Beatles album. I think the last time I counted, I had 27 different albums, 27 different Beatles White albums. So this is what we all love or hate, depending on your opinion. I forgot, just bear with 1 minute, I forgot to put the lights on. That's better. I hope you can see me now. Yeah, so basically you've got to strip this double album down to a single album. Now this is hypothetical, because obviously this will always be the Beatles White Album. There's not a bad track on this, I don't think. Some people would say they don't like Revolution 9 and things like that, which is fair enough. That's their opinion. But in all honesty, without Revolution number 9, this wouldn't be the White Album, would it? You know, I think the whole idea of the White Album was the Beatles had got that many songs at the time. They got a bit of like a back catalogue, and they just wanted to do something completely different to what they'd done on Sergeant Pepper and things like that. So there is a wide range and variety of songs on this. You've got sort of like folky songs, you've got rock songs, you've got pop songs, you've even got a couple of like silly songs and things like that. You've got like 1920s style songs, you've got John doing a couple of ballads, Paul doing a couple of ballads. So it's actually harder to strip this down to one album. I don't think if this was ever stripped to one album, I don't think it would have been as good as what it is now. That is just my personal opinion. But for the purpose of this video, and to give Beatley Tone a laugh, I've tried to make a one album version of this. Like I say, it's very hard. I've got my notes down, so I'll just have a quick drink. Now what I tried to do was, I didn't try to like pick, well I did pick my favourite songs off it in one way, but I also tried to do it so it was like a nice running order, which you don't have to do, you know, you could just do side 1 and side 2 of that if you wanted to, I suppose, but I've tried to mix it up a little bit, so you'll have to excuse me while I put my granddad glasses on. Right, so my 1 disc version of the White Album wouldn't actually start with a Lennon or McCartney song. It would actually start with a George Harrison song, and it would be While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I think that is actually good enough to be an opening track of an album. So that would be my first song, and it is a great song. And you know, that is one of the best songs I think George ever wrote with the Beatles. Probably that and Something and Here Comes the Sun. Then I do stick with track 2 from side 1, which is Dear Prudence, because I do think While My Guitar would actually blend in with Dear Prudence. That's followed by Rocky Raccoon. Then we've got Glass Onion, which is a bit of a nonsense song, but John used to love doing them, didn't he? Then we've got Paul's Mother Nature's Son. Again, I think Rocky Raccoon, Glass Onion and Mother Nature's Son all go together quite well. Then I've got Cry Baby Cry, a fantastic song, very often overlooked, I think, by Beatles fans. And then side 1 finishes off with Birthday. So that's got a strong opener and a strong end track for side 1. Side 2 starts off with Sexy Sadie, which is then followed by Helter Skelter, which is then followed by Long 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 by George, which I think is basically the version. Them 3 are actually on side 3, I think, in that order. Then I've got Paul's Martha My Dear. Then I've got John's Happiness is a Warm Gun. Then we get Back in the USSR. Then we get Don't Pass Me By, because I didn't want to pass Ringo by, basically. And I think that is worthy, if this was ever going to be just a 1 LP instead of a double LP, I think it would have been nice to have Ringo's first composition. So that is why that is there. And then I finished it off with Revolution Number 1. I changed that at last minute. I was actually going to finish it off with Julia, because I think Julia is a fantastic song, and I've just realised I haven't got that anywhere on here, so I'm sorry, because that is one of my favourite John Lennon Beatles songs ever. So after that you get 7 on side 1 and you get 8 on side 2. Now I don't think this might not work because of the running times and things like that, but I do think that does actually make like a good album, a single album. So out of the tracks, John gets 5 songs where he's the lead vocalist, Paul gets 3, George gets 2, and then Ringo gets 1. But then we've got 4 songs which, like, the vocals are shared between John, Paul and George, or George, Paul and John, you know. So I think that gives each of the Beatles like a nice sort of like percentage of songs and, you know, vocal juice and things like that. I've also tried to go for some of the songs that show the versatility a little bit more, but it is hard to not put songs on. You know, it's like, why don't we do it in the road? You know, some people would say that should be on. Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey. You know, that's a fun song, isn't it, at the end of the day? But I think the selection I've got here, if this ever was just going to be a single album, which we're talking hypothetically, aren't we, because we all know it came out as a double album, I think that would have made quite a nice single album. But I'm bound to say that because I've picked the songs, haven't I? Other songs that I did consider to put into this were one that wasn't even on the White Album, although it was recorded for the White Album, which was George's Beatles version of Not Guilty. I think that could have just about gone onto here, and I nearly picked for Revolution Number 1. I nearly put the version that they did on the TV, was it the David Frost show, where it is basically Revolution as on the B-side of Hey Jude, but then they do the doo-wops and things from Revolution Number 1, which actually is a fantastic version. And I think you'd got that somewhere in yours as well, hadn't you, Beatley Tone? I think you had, I don't know. So whatever other ones of these are like the same as yours, I don't know. I think you'd got Long Long Long, I'm not sure. I don't think you got Dear Prudence, and I don't think you got Back in the USSR, but I could be wrong. It's only a bit of fun anyway, isn't it? So yeah, so if you're stuck for something to do for an hour and you want to go onto Beatley Tone's Beatles channel, look at his video, what he's done for this, because this is like my response to his video. And then if you think you could get the White Album down to a single album, but it's got to have at least 15 songs on it. See what your ideas would be. Would you have Rocky Raccoon on it? You know, again, would you have Happiness as a Warm Gun? Would you have Back in USSR on? You know, and things like that. This has been fun to do. I must admit it has been fun to do, but it has actually made my brain work a little bit because, you know, like I've said before, I love this album the way it is. I wouldn't ever want to have seen this as a single disc album. In all honesty, I wouldn't. I think it's perfect the way it is. I think it's sort of like a one-off. I think in one way it's the Beatles at the height, or you know, it's like they could have just put themselves laughing on a whole side of this, and it would have still sold. I don't mean that as a negative or a criticism. I just think, you know, they were that popular when this came out, and everybody still loved them. As we still do now, don't we, most of us folks? You know, and I just think this album is perfect the way it is. But it was a lot of fun to do my little listing, which is there. Look, that's my little listing, and that changed about 4 times while I was doing it. Like I say, I thought I'd got Julia on it, so that I changed it that many times. I even took off one of my favourite John Lennon songs of all time. But having said that, I think this would have made a good album with these tracks, but it wouldn't have been as good as the released version. And as Paul said, leave it alone, it's the bloody White Album, folks. But yeah, that has been fun, really has been fun. If you've liked this video, leave me a comment. Obviously check out Beatley Tone's video as well, because you know it's down to him that I've made this video. I wasn't going to do a video today, but I've been cleaning a load of records, and while I was cleaning the records I was like thinking, well, what would I put on it? What would I leave off it? And then as soon as you put something on it and you've left something off, you think, well, hang on, should I put that one on, or should, you know, like I say, it's a very, very hard decision in one way to decide what you would put on your one disc and what would you leave off. But it is only a bit of fun, folks. Don't take it too serious. I enjoyed doing it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I don't expect anybody to agree with any of my choices, to be honest. I still think While My Guitar Gently Weeps would have been a fantastic opening track for an album, and I think Revolution #1 is a good closing track for an album, because didn't George Martin always try to start off with a strong track and finish with a strong track? So that's it. I hope you're well and dandy. A little bit of news. I've got that photo there that came in the post this week. It nearly ended up in the bin, to be honest, because it was supposed to be framed in glass and everything, and all the glass had smashed by the time it got to me, and I thought it had smashed the frame. The frame was broken. I've managed to fix the frame, but it wasn't very well packaged, to be honest. Not criticising anybody there. I've managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've managed to get 7 of the History of Rock albums that I needed for my mate's collection, who sadly passed away, but I do still need a few more. I think it's 4 to finish that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 6. I need Volume 8, Volume 17, Volume 35, Volume 37, Volume 39 and Volume 40. But I've been crossing them off as I've been getting them as well. So, you know, I've been like, it's hard to find some of these, because I think the higher it went, the more rarer it is to get. I have seen Volume 39 and Volume 40. Volume 39 usually goes about the £15 mark. Volume 40 usually goes for £20 plus on eBay anyway. Most of those that I got there were £5, but then there was post and packaging on them. The most expensive one was £10, which was the one that had got Bob Marley on, which I thought was a double album with Bob Marley, and Bob Marley's only on one side, and then the rest of it is like the story of reggae, which is good. So they've all been cleaned today. I've cleaned all the records that I got the other day. the Paul McCartney Tripping the Light, fantastic. The McCartney 2 and the Sgt. Pepper that was on Apple, because somebody did criticise me. I don't know if they meant to criticise me. They just says, well, I don't know how you dare play a record without cleaning it first. I played them first to test them. So they weren't on me magical, you know, my dead expensive desks, as on me run-of-the-mill Sony deck. Because if the scratched and the jump and the warped and stuff like that, what's the point of cleaning them? Because you're going to chuck them away probably, aren't you? If they're that bad. And that's about it. I've had a weird week at work. I'm glad I've got a few days off now. So hopefully, I don't think I'm going to be buying many more records at the minute. I'm going to try and finish the collection of the history of rock, and when that is done, I probably will do a video on that, because I do actually think that is worth a video, because there's some quite nice songs on it. There's some artists haven't got any records by them as such, like the Velvet Underground and stuff. There's some of that on there, and then there's the binders as well. So when that is finished, that will be one to look out for. I don't think I'm going to do a David Bowie one this week. I say that, it just depends how I feel over the next 3 days. I might do, I don't know. So I just did this one in response to Beatley Tone's Beatles channel, stripping down the double album, White Album, to a single disc album. So I hope you've all liked it. If you've liked it, by the way, and you're not subscribed, please just think about subscribing, because it is free. It doesn't cost you a penny. And I'll say that about every YouTube channel there is. Nobody, you don't get charged for just subscribing. And it's, you know, this is our, the more people subscribe, then the more YouTube will promote the channel. I mean, I'm doing okayish at the minute. Beatley Tone's doing okayish at the minute. You know, but I think some people are a bit scared to say in the video, you know, if you've liked it and not subscribed, please subscribe. I've got some wonderful subscribers. I think some of my subscribers are some of the best people out there, and I do mean that sincerely. I'm not taking the mickey or anything when I say that. I get some lovely comments. I do sometimes get the odd negative comment. I don't know if they're meant to be negative, or if I just take them the wrong way. I don't get many like that. Most people just say, Dave, you're doing a wonderful job, you know, thanks for sharing and things like that, or, you know, we look forward to seeing your videos because you make us laugh and things like that. I don't mind. If I make you laugh, I don't mind. So that's going to be it. So don't forget to check out Beatley Tone's Beatles channel, and whatever you're doing, please stay safe. Remember, you are the Beatley Dave. Without you, this channel wouldn't exist. Something a little bit different and something just for fun. And if you fancy doing a video of how you would do your 15 tracks 1 LP version of the White Album, give it a go. Honestly, give it a go. It is fun to do. Oh, by the way, thank you to everybody that is subscribing. You all mean the world to me. Thank you to everybody that is leaving me likes and leaving me comments. Because I've been doing stupid shifts this week, if I haven't replied to your comments yet, don't worry, I will get around to it eventually, but I've got to catch up on my sleep and things like that as well. So yeah, whatever you're doing, please stay safe. If you're crate digging, or, you know, going to record shops and things over the weekend, I hope you find some bargains. I don't know what we're doing, to be honest, because the weather forecast is supposed to be a bit dodgy, isn't it, in the UK? I mean, the sun's out at the minute, and yet this morning it was foggy. So yeah, so until the next time, remember, Beatle Dave loves you, and stay safe. You know, you mean the world to me, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. And check out other people's videos as well, you know. And so it's love and peace, and remember, Beatle Dave loves you all. Cheerio for now.